And once again, good afternoon. John Verlin with On-Demand Advertising Solutions. Happy Thanksgiving. We're doing this right before Thanksgiving, cutting out a little early today, and want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. 3 bizarre business marketing lessons I learned in art class, podcast number 45. I want to share with you a fun promotional story. This is all true, by the way. I couldn't make this up. Years ago, if you're looking on this blog post, you see a logo of a classical radio station called KXTR in Kansas City. I worked in advertising and sales for 20 years there. Got to be good friends with the program director. His name is Patrick. And we were always goofing around and cutting jokes and, getting involved in a lot of things in the community, the arts, things like that. And I was always, because I was in sales, looking for a sponsor of any kind of promotion I could come up with, an angle, a creative angle. And I would use these for a lot of the small business owners I worked with. Said, you know what, we did a promotion a month ago that da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, hey, I like that idea. Let's do that. And you never knew what would work or wouldn't. Well, one idea we had, and this was actually kind of selfish on my part and on actually Patrick's more so, was neither one of us could draw worth beans. I mean, literally, my handwriting looked like a horror story. And he couldn't draw either. So we decided, let's contact the Kansas City Art Institute. We had worked with them before, prominent art school in Kansas City, adjacent to the Nelson Atkins Museum. Walt Disney, I believe, was one of the founders of the Art Institute. So we knew the marketing director, called her up and had this idea, and she loved it. And here's the idea. If she would let Patrick and I take pastel classes for 13 weeks at the Art Institute and let us put those up on our radio station website, we'll talk about it the day after in the morning show, what we learned, and let listeners go view what we did. And at the end of 13 weeks, we'll have a contest. We'll have them vote on who the better artist is. We'll have them draw a name of those who voted, and they would end up winning pastel classes. They loved the idea. But Patrick didn't want just any old pastels. No. He wanted Saumur pastels. These were the French pastel artist, Saumur, whatever his name was, that were in mahogany cases, like a suitcase. There were 500 of them. Chalk, gorgeous, silk, everything. And they're $500. I said, Patrick, let's just get 20. I mean, we're not Monet here. Well, no, I want my Saumur. I want these nice pastels. So we go to Keith Cold Snow Art Supplies. They were a leading art supplier for years in Kansas City. Told him the idea. He goes, oh, I love it. I'll just give them to you. I'll give you whatever you need. So these 2 doofuses go to our art class the first night carrying about $700 worth of art materials. And there are about 10 other artists in this class. Some were sculptors, some were oil painters, some were just regular moms and dads. And they told us what we were doing, what Patrick and I were doing. And we had to look ridiculous. I mean, we had no clue what we were doing. We actually each bought handwriting drawing 101. Might as well have been handwriting. I mean, literally. I had no depth perception. I mean, I could do poetry and photography and writing and all that, but this was way out of my league of drawing. Same with Patrick. So it was a perfect stewed setup, so to speak. So anyway, we take these classes. First night, we draw a bowl of fruit. And technically, my brother said that was my best thing that I did in the 13-week course. But it was hard. I mean, literally, this is like giving an elephant a paint can, having him step all over a canvas and see what shows up. Literally. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing. I had no depth perception, no drawing experience. All my drawings and doodles were terrible. They were geometric headaches. I mean, they were, nightmares, actually. So we did this class. We talked the next morning on the morning show about what we learned, had listeners go to the website. We posted I was embarrassed to post them, but we did. And at the end of each class, we would put them up on the wall and critique each other, which I didn't expect. Well, they didn't tell us, by the way, we were going to be doing nudes. So we did one lady, very attractive, kind of shocked me, but this is an art institute, right? It's higher art. So we did our nude. Several weeks later, we did a second nude. Unfortunately, this woman was rather large. And unfortunately, I didn't get the perception quite right. I made her look like a gorilla. Actually, I made her look like a local restaurant owner, somebody said, that looked like a gorilla. I don't know. So we do these things, right? And every week we're critiquing. And finally, the 13th week, I'm exhausted. I mean, literally 3 hours a week in the evening of hard, concentrated effort, squeezing that side of my brain to try to be creative in that medium, that realm. And by the way, some of these other artists weren't that great either, even though they were good in sculpturing or something. And so that taught me you don't necessarily transfer one talent of a medium to another. Now, if you look at Paul McCartney and guys like that who can do, or John Lennon, songwriting, singing, art, poetry, they've got multi-talents or play instruments, But I could not draw, okay? So I thought, okay, now we're getting to the lessons here, the bizarre business marketing lessons I learned at this art class. All right, so final night, they had a bowl of cookies, with icing on them and little faces and whatnot. I zoom in on one. It's a yellow iced cookie. And I drew that thing. And I am telling you, folks, I felt like it looked like a 5-year-old in kindergarten, literally. I was so humiliated, I started to wad it up, and the teacher goes, no, 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 no. Don't throw it away. Put it up. Put it up. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I am the worst artist in this room. I'm humiliated. I just can't finish it. No, 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 no. Put it up. So they put it up. Several of them liked it. What? Really? Well, then it dawned on me later, years later, well, if an elephant can sell, why can't I? Because they sell these elephant stompings or whatever they call them. So we end up with our 13 weeks over. We finish the deal. We put all of our stuff up on the website. We now have listeners vote. Now, before I tell you what the outcome was, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the lessons I learned. 3 lessons, bizarre business marketing lessons I learned in this art class. Number 1, beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder. Think about applying these, quote, lessons that I paid for in sheer terror and sweat and exhaustion. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but think about these lessons, how you apply to your business and marketing. Because your perception of what you think is something may be just the opposite to somebody else. So it's definitely in the eye of the beholder. Testing ideas, number 2, and retesting can possibly help confirm your suspicions of what is good or what is bad, what will work, what won't work. Marketers do this all the time. If you're a new business or you've not had a lot of marketing experience, the secret's testing. You're like a scientist. You're testing different combinations. Maybe if you put the word free in that ad, it'll change everything. These are things I've learned over the years, that it could be a phrase, it could be an image, anything. Because if you have the best product or service in the world and no one knows about it, it doesn't really matter. That's why marketing is so critical. It's easier now in a way with these new platforms to measure and to get the word out to targeted audiences, but you still got to go with the regular marketing principles of testing and retesting and all. And finally, the third observation or lesson I learned in this class was that gut instinct is still needed in spite of the data, big data, small data, artificial intelligence. There is still that human gut instinct, the intuition, something that feels. That's what I learned of my artwork in this class. There was a feeling that was conveyed to people through that cookie, believe it or not. And I didn't know this. I didn't guess it. I presumed of what my image of beauty was. And believe me, it was bad. But, okay, the results of what happened with the survey or the contest, the listeners who judged our artwork at our website, including some Rotarians I knew who had heard about us or heard us talking about this and went to the website, said, John, I wanted to see what you guys did because I figured if you guys could do it, anybody can do it. And he was right. 50-50 of who the better artist was. Right down the middle. We counted the votes. I forgot 100 of them or something. But a number of these listeners now, this is a classical music audience. These folks are sophisticated. They're educated. A number of them said, quote, I really like John's whimsical cookie. Whimsical cookie. I never thought of it that way. I saw it as a 5-year-old's artwork in kindergarten or an attempt at art. And they liked it. They really liked it. So, 3 bizarre business marketing lessons I learned in that art class. And by the way, I ended up, they doubled the size of the class the next semester from our promotion. They loved it. The art people loved it. Matter of fact, the winner got 13 weeks plus free Sommeleur pastels and supplies by Keith Cold Snow, and they all had a great time with it. And we did too. Now, this was 3 months long, so it gave us some shelf space and some leverage with the listeners. Well, I hope you got something out of this to apply towards your marketing and true life experience with this that goes for marketing as well. Gut instinct still there, it's still alive. Beauty is not always in the eye of the beholder of what you may presume. And to keep testing and retesting ideas. That's exactly what Thomas Edison did, all the great inventors. Nobody came walking out of the box going, oh, I got this. Well, maybe Steve Jobs did, but he had some experience, I guess. But at any rate, John Verlin, On-Demand Advertising Solutions. Get hold of me at johnverlin12@AT&T.net or go to our website, ondemandadvertisingsolutions.com. And by the way, we've got a digital marketing update special newsletter you can sign up for to follow that we'll be sending to your inbox every month. These are going to be a little bit different than these podcasts as far as information, tips, ideas, entrepreneurial thoughts of what has worked, what will work, suggestions, things like that that are coming from entrepreneurs I'm talking to, and also that I'm gaining data, things like that. Go ahead and we'll talk to you again next week.